let's see, I'm not quite sure when my dad got it, but he got it from Aunt Nettie.
Open this for him.
I can remember back when I was like 5, 6 years old, so I don't know, you know. He may have gotten it before I was even in the picture, because my parents were married for 15, 18 years before I showed up. So he may have gotten it before that. I just don't know the exact date that he got it, but he got it from his aunt. My great aunt Nettie Martin was her married name. She was Nettie Collins.
And she died in '63.
Okay, yeah. So whether he had it, you know, or before I showed up, or just got it when she passed. Right now, I just don't remember. It's always just been down in my parents' basement, you know, until my dad passed, and then I had told I put dibs on it when my dad passed. I'm an only child, so I told my mother, "You don't do anything with that." You know, because and she said, no, that's fine. So when she sold her house in 2000, that's when I asked her if I could bring the chest over to our house. And we did, and I think for me, that was the first time I had opened it. And it was like, oh my word, look what's inside. Now, in the process of doing that, my mother had told me, she said, family verbal tradition said that it had come from the last female slave of Atlantic County, and that's what they had passed down from the family, my family, down through to my dad, to me, through my mother.
Based on the records that we have, the census records, there's a will, there's unfortunately an agreement of sale, but we believe it's quite probable that Lucy Harris Jackson was the last person reported as enslaved in any of the southern New Jersey counties, and that she lived from about 1780, very imprecise on that birth date, and we don't know exactly when she died. She was mentioned in a will of November 1871, but we don't have a place of death for her, or a burial spot, or any record
So
whatsoever.
if there was anybody else, I said, Bob, I said, where would be the best place for this? And Bob said, I know. He contacted Ralph and put Ralph in touch with me, and I said, that's the place it's going. So here it is. And we brought the whole thing, kit and caboodle, new stuff, old stuff, whatever, and we given it to Ralph to figure out what to do with it. Now, it's his. And but I'm glad to find that it's got a place to go. It's an intriguing chest. As Bob was saying about the structure of it, if you get a chance to peek inside, it's got an intriguing setup inside too, especially when they put all now they laid all this stuff out nice, so you can see. That was all just kind of piled in there. There's like shelves, or whatever you want to call them, that would sit in there to have it, and it gets heavy. I mean, the chest itself is heavy. If you get a chance, I don't think he's going to let you. If you ever get a chance to heft it, you'll know. But then you put all this stuff in it, and it's like, oh man, you know. So we don't know quite how or who did what with it or anything, but it is an interesting chest. And I'm very glad that we could give it to a place, a museum that can appreciate it, can pass it on, let the next generation see what people used to build their places. And I find some of it intriguing, and if you look at it and then go back and watch this old house, you'll see them bring up a piece of old equipment, and you go, wait a minute, I've seen that down in Lucy's chest. And it's really quite, Lucy's chest was in my basement, if you will. But they just hung down there in the basement. As far as I know, they came down through my dad's side. My mother told me that they were used to, now this is her words, and you have to realize, you know, her generation too. But they were used to call the slaves in from the field, and they were the dinner bell. And when he brings them, you'll hear the tones. And as a child, we used to just bang on them, you know how kids do, bang, 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 and would play with them and that. Many years later, I was at a conference down in DC, and they had a lady come down escalators and out of doorways and everything else. She's trying to get everybody to go in to eat. And she had this little electronic kind of thing that rang a bell, and the bell had the same 4 tones as the student bell. I stopped in my tracks, and I backed up and I said, could you do that again? I said, I haven't heard those, you know, and they were the same 4 tones that her little electronic thing was using as I had banged on when I was a kid. It was just,
I'm sorry, you go to her.